Superstars showing the power of the swap in game number 1 and making their Cassia record now 4-0. Is it safe to say that Superstars might have the best command here in North America of how to play Cassia?
I want to say yes. The fact that they've gone 4-0 in itself makes me feel like it's a pretty comfortable yeah. But then when you have games like the last one, I'm like, well, was that Cassia or was that Goku, right? You know, that's how I feel when I kind of see that weird intermix. But yes, they have not only played it consistently, but the fact that they've been successful with it is, yeah, probably good to tell. Cassia, Faye specifically, has a pretty solid grasp on how to play her and does it well.
It's funny that it's Faye because we used to know Murloc Geniuses, the old school first iteration, having great success with new patches and new battlegrounds. So
yeah.
Faye has picked this hero up and just done swimmingly with her right off the bat. And maybe we'll get to see her again in the next battleground. Team Naventic has chosen Tomb of the Spider Queen. I should note that we've only gotten to see one Tempo Storm Cassia, so maybe we'll reserve judgment until we get to see some more Tempo Cassia too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard on that front to be able to gauge because, again, it comes down to like multiple teams and then who their matchup is, the compositions of which he's picked. But I mean, if you get 4 games on a new hero that much and you're winning with it, whereas other teams are having mixed results, I think it's pretty confident that you can just be like, we've got a better grasp than most of the teams on this hero.
Well, Team Naventic are continuing their trend of liking to pick the battleground over first pick, but going to Tomb of the Spider Queen instead of Infernal Shrines, which is what we would have known from them before to want to pick that. What do you think of this? Do you think it's like we're going to go to Tomb first and then eventually we have Infernal Shrines, or is it something else? Last time they played Tomb, they brought out the Stitches Tyrande.
Yeah, I don't actually have the answer for this. And at this point, I would just say it's more panic or desperation. Whatever Naventic is doing from this point on isn't how do we win HGC North America. It is more of a stop the bleeding and figuring out how to survive the Crucible, right? And if that means mixing up the map priority, they personally feel like they've had it off a little bit, totally fine by me. It's just one of those things where I feel like unless you're truly in their shoes, you can't begin to try and, you know, say their train of thought. They don't have any logic to it other than how they feel and what they think is the best and fastest way to turn things around.
I want to know, are they continuing to have Big E play support? Was that a one-time game?
I don't think so. I think we'll see it for the rest of the series. Otherwise, because it doesn't make sense, right? Chromie wasn't a rare pick. It may be a little bit for Naventic, but not enough to where there's no way you start that series and your support role swaps and be like, well, they were just better at that hero than everybody else on new release. Because that can happen too, where when Cassia comes out, if a warrior player is extremely good on the Cassia for the first week or whatever, they might pick a Cassia and be like, okay, we're going to play on that. Somebody else play Murden, the long-standing heroes in the game.
Yeah, that happened to Gale Force.
You don't do that with support players.
No.
They never are that one, to the point where I think that is their role swap. That is their attempt to recover, is by shifting Kenma away from that role. Granted, the last game was pretty heavily punished. He was on an equally vulnerable hero to like that of like a Brightwing, so it's just...
And to be fair, he had the extended range. You can't get away from Goku like that. The extended range, maybe something like timeout would have been better. Instantly enter timeout, bust it out once the swap's done, and then hope in that process that your team has either gotten you into a better position or started to win the fight.
Yeah, that is a really good point that you bring up, and only showing more to the argument of like how awesome the play out of Superstars was in that last in that last game, even. But we'll see. We'll see in this one if Kenma is in fact going to still be on those backliners, and if he is, which ones. You know, I mean, that's something I've never taken the time to even begin to consider, is what ranged assassins are in Kenma's hero pool. Chromie to sit at the top would not be my first thought.
Well, it can't be Gul'dan.
Superstar is going to take that away. Good wave clear. In control. What about...
I would think Murden is one of the 2 heroes picked here.
Genji still. Genji... off of my original interpretation of what I've seen from Genji so far, Genji would be weaker on this map than most. Just again, the macro intensive. He has 0 wave clear. And that's not totally true. He's not like Uther level wave clearer, but he's pretty bad.
It does feel bad.
Yeah, when you're stuck in a solo lane, like for more than a globe, you're just about like, all right, I'd rather be on any other hero right now. So it's just because of the macro focus, it makes me already a bit skeptical of the draft here for Naventic.
They banned a new Barak, so it's possible that Chromie will still be a choice for Team Naventic given that he has the spell armor. But also taking that away from Srey, I kind of wondered if they were worried about making sure that Cure had a warrior he felt comfortable on, given that that's not his normal role.
Yeah.
But in this instance, still feeling like there are enough options for him that they didn't have to ban a warrior and pick a warrior.
Ragnaros and Johanna is going to be the rotation for Superstars. Another thing on the looking at the Genji pickup for Naventic, I've already talked a little bit about, like, I'm hesitant towards the Genji hype train, but the biggest thing when I know I like him is one with Uthers, and another is just heavy dive compositions. Not only does the map not accent dive compositions, but more importantly is the Malf. So seeing that the fact that a Malf is already picked up for Naventic suddenly makes him that much less likely to be effective when diving the backline. Like, every game we've seen Genji without Uther, it's been watch him dive while he dives the backline. Every game with it, it was suddenly, though they lost all up until the final fight, the one fight where we saw Genji with Dragon Blade, with Divine Shield, Fan just shredded, you know, Team Freedom in that last series.
What do Superstars want to ban here? Do
Tyrael.
they further ban a warrior? Yeah, so they don't have a dive buddy for Genji.
Anybody who can be a threat there with the Genji. If you don't ban Tyrael, what direction, which I expect Superstars to not ban it out. It's a very rare pick in North America. Nazeebo was not my first thought, but it was very common for Naventic to pick up a Nazeebo, especially at the later parts of, I want to say it was part 1. There was about a Nazeebo, it felt like, on every 1-4 map for Naventic.
Yeah, and Superstars have Ragnaros, who undoubtedly will delay to late game.
Yeah.
With his defense of web weavers, and then Gul'dan, who scales into the late game well with his poison damage. So trying to make sure that they have the better end of that deal while taking out Nazeebo from Team Naventic and Nazeebo. So there's Muradin.
What is the next pick, though? With Gul'dan, Nazeebo already gone, Tychus is up for Naventic. It's a hero that they have stuck to more faithfully than the rest of North America. It would be played traditionally by Tomster, and he's still yet to pick a hero. Another backliner, I mean, Vala is still available. They have no solo laner either. So there's the Tychus. The last pick has to be the solo to match into the Ragnaros, and not too many stand out to me, especially with a Genji already having a melee picked up, because you got to think about, like, Zeratul. One of the cool things about Zeratul is he breaks the world of melee assassins in compositions because he can run a double backline while being a melee squishy and it be okay because of Void, but no other melee squishy can actually do that. And Illidan is a prime example. You can't just run that with a double backline and be okay. Genji is going to be one of those as well, unless it's a really solid poker and enabler for a reset. And so they have, what I'm trying to say is Naventic has to commit. Melees look unappealing because you don't want that many melees, but a backliner does too. So all solo laners right now just look meh across the board for Naventic.
I'm wondering if Superstars are considering Ariel as their support. They've played quite a few Ariel games as of late, but there is still a possibility of Chromie for Team Naventic. So Rhaegar's still up too. He would add a lot to the wave clear. He's a favorite of Iacona. He's going to get that, and Lunara.
Leaves it to the last pick. Who is going to be the solo? The biggest question, I want to get to the loading screen. I want to figure out who's playing what on the side of Naventic.
Yeah.
I'm going with, that is definitely a Zuna Genji. That is a Tomster's Tychus, and it's a Cure Muradin. But the Malfurion?
And this.
If it's a Chromie, I'm banking on it's definitely Ken again. But if it is, I don't know. I think Big Impact's going to be the Malf. Almost no matter what that last pick is.
We'll see if he can make a big impact with his Twilight Dreams.
Hey.
Ayo.
Got him.
What else would fit in here?
Like I said.
What about a Kill Thos?
accent the 4-man, still have no solo.
I think you'd have to put Tychus in the solo and then just not lose it too hard. Make rotations into Baby.
You get smashed in the 4-man, though. You go Jaina, you go kill potential into the 4. Okay, but you still have no solo. So Naventic panicking a bit with that last pick, goes into the Jaina to be able to not only match the 4, but also, again, have the kill potential between the Mouth, Jaina, and the Murden setup, the chaining of the CC, locking it down. It's an old school strategy, but in fact, it is one that checks out. But they have no solo, and that is going to be a problem. And Superstars not only have a dominant solo, they have the best wave clear into their 4-man, and more importantly than anything else, while you give that eerie stare, more importantly than anything else is the fact that no matter who Naventic rotate to be able to try to be that solo lane representative, it was only not going to, it's going to draw more recess from the 4-man, so they lose even harder, but they're going to lose. There's no matchup where Naventic wins. You can commit 3 to bottom to make sure that Ragnaros doesn't take over the world, then your 4-man between Gul'dan, a Rhaegar, and a Johanna, they one-shot him anyway. One-shot it. They can do any lane matchup for Superstars, so they have a better lane. They have a really solid team fighting as the game moves on. Maybe not as much team fight as I'd like, way too much dots. But other than that, things are really good for Superstars.
The best news for Team Naventic is there are no swaps this game to try to put somebody who is out of position even more so out of position. But there are still a lot of opportunities to pull someone in with Condemn, Sulfurous Smash on top of them too. Lunara is probably going to be Leaping Strike over you so that you're slowed down and poisoned to be taken out. I don't know, fam. Jaina, they've got to get the right picks early, is what it seems like.
It's a bit pretty much, oddly enough, though, the map has changed a lot, and so has the hero picks. These comps kind of have the same story. The 1 through 9 versus the overall team, you know, working on the map and everything like for Superstars. But Naventic, yeah, they banked a lot on their 1 through 9, their 4-man, and they're getting picks mainly on Lunara. That is their primary target to be able to try and dive.
And there's no swaps, but there are Horrifies to try to put someone out of position. We'll see how Jaina works out for Team Naventic as we head into Game 2.
All right, so big impacts the Malfurion. This is a full-blown role swap. Coming out for Naventic, Kenma is going to be the Jaina player. And big impact the Malfurion. This is something. You know, I think that's about as good as you can end that sentence.
That's a beautiful loadout for Kenma.
I didn't see what he had going on.
Blue Jaina, it was the Lunar Festival. Blue Jaina with the blue mount, looking very Frozen-esque.
Frozen-esque,
yeah.
Nice.
Elsa Jaina.
You're right. He's styling. I think the mount, cherry on top there.
Right.
I don't think I've seen that before, that mount. Either way, we see Kenma as a backliner once more. A hero with a bit more survivability than Chromie. Actually, that's not true.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, okay, so she has a higher health pool and she's got self-peels when it comes to her slow, but she technically has less defensive because she doesn't have like a, I don't know, timeout or even an ice block for that matter.
Yeah, and she doesn't have the extreme long-range poke. He will have to step forward closer to be able to get things down like his Blizzard. But as long as the roots are there, the Stormbolt from Muradin too, to set those up, then he should be able to step in and be able to full combo abilities to try to get those picks.
For now, the laning phase of Superstars has been less dominant than I'd like to see. They opened up with a 2-2-1 to try and figure out where the 4-man was going to commit. What that's done is never allowed them to fully group as their traditional 4-man until it looks like this mid lane. And now they can force the response out of Naventic. We already talked a lot of the focus for Naventic into the laning phase. Genji trying to gank on bottom. He will act a bit like even that of a Zeratul, kind of to bottom to get ganks when he can.
Yeah, and Tychus does do a relatively good job versus Ragnaros, at least at trying to delay the stacking for as long as he can. But he needs to make sure he doesn't step out too far and get caught by a similar gank from Superstars. But with the composition that Superstars has, they have such a great wave clear comp with Rhaegar, Johanna, Gul'dan too. They're likely just going to be far more focused on making sure they get the mid-top rotations under lock and key. And then it'll be Naventic trying to make the picks.
Superstars looks like they're trying to mix things up. They're even going to send Iacona to solo the Giants on bottom, but he moved through Fog of War to get there. So nobody knows, at least on the side of Naventic, that it started, but they did scout it out. He gets caught out, the heal, the root, that is going to be a kill and first blood. Over to Naventic, makes a big impact to roots.
First blood also gives Team Naventic 4 ahead of their opponents. Once again, Agile Dismount is the level 1 choice for Genji, so it seems to be Zuna's favorite to have that increased range and... Oh, Hosty.
He met the mid lane with a nice old Dwarf Hammer, and that was the last thing you saw. Hosty with a optimistic rotation. Nice punishment coming out from Naventic. And with the invade and pick, they managed a big get on Iacona before. They've got a lot of things working out for them on Tomb. The 1 through 9, it's paying off for Naventic. We talked about it in the draft. They have 45 gems turned in, only 40 even available for Superstars.
Yeah, so they're looking for a very early turn-in here as soon as they get the gems.
Is that a smart thing?
Oh my,
what is happening?
This is so frustrating.
Zuna just steals every camp, period. Oh man, he got denied the reset. So at least there's not that to be able to get out. Sray pops the Iron Skin. He's going to share the same fate soon. Nice root. And that is 3 members down. Superstars falling apart from the Zuna invades.
Oh, that is so many gems. Up more than 15 now dropped. And because he was in Molten Core, he couldn't go pick that up either.
It's, just adding salt to the wound.
Aggravating.
Webweaver's here for Naventic. They are successful in the laning phase. Can they be with the Webweavers? I postured the question, is it smart to force the turn-in for Naventic? And the answer to that is it's not terrible, but I don't know if I would have liked to see them force it, unless they get this pick on Faye.
I think they're going to get the pick. Huge. Zuna's there, and man, these picks from Team Naventic at the beginning, the B-stepping commences from Kenma.
Gets a new role, suddenly just popping off on everyone, 1 solo kill's all it takes. He's a new man.
So the reasoning we talk about the early turn-in for a team is if you have the possibility of delaying longer so that the minute that the first phase is over, you've been able to achieve 10 with the towers you've taken down and you have enough gems. Okay, well, the counter kill.
With the counter B-step.
And the variant question mark.
Cura's still got himself a Stormbolt. Nice pre-cleanse from Iacona, gets him out of the root. He gets value out of his level 7 too. Big impact. Suddenly he's getting turned on. Zuna's there to join. Nice root, or stun, excuse me. That's a pick kill. But by Iacona, nice blind. Condemn cannot peel away.
Kone is so slow.
He dies to the Stormbolt. Faye there to join. A level down is going to be Superstars and a man, while those Webweavers finally have been cleared. And not only the 10 spike you were talking about and timing your turn-in with around the level 10, the one thing for me when looking at this is Naventic's got about nothing when it comes to siege pre-10. They've got reasonable siege post-10. But Superstars has insane defenses. Pre-10, post-10, all parts of the game. So the fact that they got an early turn-in and were successful, they got rid of the heroes who can clear everything, it's unbelievably beneficial. And it all started with that Jaina pick.
Look at the gems when the Webweaver phase was done. They had the exact same amount of gems, except Naventic had already had a turn-in. So those picks were more than just experience. They were more than getting to B-step your opponent. They were taking out gems from Superstars. They have set Superstars massively behind in this game.
Massively behind. And that is now a Naventic hitting their heroic spike. Ring of Frost for Jaina. Odin coming out from the Tychus, but nothing chosen yet for Zuna there on the Genji. Just to let you guys know, I'm trying to think if we would see a reason for a different heroic choice coming out from him here.
Ring of Frost.
He's gonna go with it.
Ring of Frost locks him down. That's the alley this time. That extracts the oop.
Leave it to the, Bucha brothers to be able to be the 1-2 punch of Naventic here now that they're both on damages.
Heroics almost here for Superstars. We'll see if it's going to be Leaping Strike for Lunara or now seeing this aggressive start for Naventic. Wanting to have Thornwood Vine to apply as much poison. Yep, it is Thornwood Vine.
My one fear out of all of this is just how is anything going to die outside of a Horrify? You know, the Blessed Shield, Sulfurous Smash is an option, but those are about it. Those are the only two I have enough damage to lock down a kill on any of the members of Naventic's draft, and being already a level down, another Webweaver rotation. Luckily, the pick on Ken is going to pay off dividends here, but he survives.
Oh,
big impact. Comes in with the heal, with the cleanse, and no kill to be earned for Superstars.
We'll have to wait another fight for Ring of Frost X Strike pairing. Sray here now the focus of damage for Team Naventic. Goku going to use Molten Core. Kira is there. Dwarf tosses out away from a Molten Swing. Kenma, though, gets hit by Sulfurous Smash.
And he goes down.
Finally, Superstars getting a pick.
No Horrify left up. It was already going to be used. Hosi taking a lot of damage. Root's not going to land. Iacona with a beautiful Ancestral Twilight Dream going on just to Sray on the front line. He's trying to kite out. The blind's there. The X-Split drops. And Zuna takes too much poison. Big impact goes down. And now what started as a reasonable fight for Naventic is crumbling as they are 3 for 0.
Superstars have to clear out the rest of the Web Weavers, then can look to get a phase of their own. They have stayed caught up in experience, which is everything to them. And they've even defended 2 forts because they took that fight pretty quickly and were able to get to the defense in time. So did not lose at all what Naventic could have maybe gotten.
Yeah, for Naventic was in a opportunity to get a keep level of power spike. Like, that is how far ahead Naventic was in this game. They would minimum 3 forts and a keep front wall, potential of a keep even beyond that point. So the fact that Superstars is even in this game right now shows a lot of heart, a lot of good, smart play.
In hindsight, is it that Superstars were able to pull Naventic into a full team fight instead of trying to split up and make sure that one of those lanes was pushing?
To be honest, a lot of what the reason why we saw the success happen the way it did is that they caught Kenma. They didn't get the kill, but they forced Ring. That's half their damage. Yeah. And she was so low in the first place. Then they were able to defensively drop a Molten Core. She had no way to go in, try and Ring counterplay. It was like, oh, Arjana's at half HP. She's just dead. She's already, you know, used her cooldowns.
Well, here's the 13-13 fight. Faye and Hosty take a little bit of damage from Zuna, who's just jumping all over the battlefield.
I will say I do like Zuna's playstyle on Genji the most out of what we've seen so far. It just feels he's way more comfortable using his E offensively, which I think, I mean, is obviously kind of a must. It's very core to his kit. We saw others be a bit more reserved, and yes, maybe not dying as much, but I also feel like Genji was built to be a big, go big or go home character. At least we feel like Zuna's going big. Maybe not getting the kills he wants and the resets he needs.
Well, if he can go big at any point, he'll be able to figure out how he can go home.
There's 101 gems. Kira goes in.
Using Avatar, so this is the fight as the rest of Naventic try to come into the fight. There's the Ring of Frost, X-Strike 2. Sulfurous Smash has already taken out Jaina, and Iacona stays alive. Ragnaros down, a 1-for-1 trade.
Tiger, oh gosh, Iacona gets in the wolf form after getting the heal on himself out of Taika's range, so he will survive a bit longer to heal everyone up.
Stray has 41 gems. Has he used Iron Skin yet?
Faye so low on mana, she can't tap.
There it is.
Iron Skin right through the roots. 1-for-1. And miraculously, Superstars survives.
They survive, but they have not gotten Web Weavers yet. They have 12 gems turned in, and they're holding on to 73.
They know they're going to turn this up on top. Saray has enough by himself. Can they get the zone? Kira gets distracted. Web Weavers over to Superstars.
So nice that Saray could turn those in, too. It's hard when the frontliner has those gems. So now how much does Superstars get done? Still 3 forts remaining for Team Naventic. A lot of the heroic abilities for Naventic for a team fight are down though. Superstar still has Blessed Shield. Sray moves into position.
So with these Web Weavers, one thing we are yet to be able to experience is the siege of Superstars composition. They've got Lunara. They have, you know, Gul'dan. They have a lot of poke and just kind of a threat when you're on the defensive. So they should be able to make a lot happen with these Web Weavers, but by the fact that they half-rotated top there for a moment and then committed back to mid after the Web Weaver died, Zuna getting free clear on bottom, this is not anywhere near an optimal start
No, it's a
to
12-minute
these web weavers.
turn in, and they still haven't even taken down the towers here, but they're at least keeping Naventic in the mid, and once some of the members show clearing out top, then they can potentially move in underneath the fort and try to take it out, but Kim is clearing this so fast.
He ends up getting the clear. Naventic has enough for a turn in themselves. The race to 16 is tight, but it looks like Naventic should pull ahead after that bottom wave. They lock it in. 1 second before the turn in. Will Superstars try and force? Without 16, they back out.
13 was an important talent here for Superstars. They got a lot of sustainability versus the damage that Naventic has. And 16 will be a very important one too. They have Starwood's Spear that's going to give the range to Lunara so that she can apply her poisons, but Ruinous Affliction. Is Echoed Corruption done? It will be soon. So once that's done, those two together, that's where the late game poisons really spike for Gul'dan.
This is going to be a tense moment. The Blessed Shield, the Sulfurous Smash, Ring of Frost is going to be dropped. X-Strike goes into a lot of damage put onto Zuna, but he's going to drop the Protect for now. Odin is there. Big Impact trying to heal everyone up. Zuna has the dash out. 1 for 1, but the health bars in Naventic significantly lower than that of Superstars.
Gul'dan did what he could. There's still Lunara to try to keep dotting up and throwing out poisons to people to zone everyone away. It was only Muradin who went down, who was the frontliner of Team Naventic, but Naventic still have their damage and they still have their support to keep trying to poke Superstars away from a second turn in a row.
And they managed to be able to deny it though, even though with the 47 gems that Superstars had in their control. And Naventic, 1 gem away. They have enough gems now. Are they going to be able to get it?
Superstars went back to get their bruisers, and that didn't allow them
They
to
can
poke
deny
away.
one of them. Oh, they missed both. If they had gone top, they could have stopped Kenma, but they couldn't have stopped Thompson. He got it too far in, and that is now a web weaver face for Naventic. All because of the night camp.
And those forts are looking juicy to be taken down. And maybe even some more structures getting closer to the keep. Team Naventic trying to make sure that this web weaver phase counts, clearing out the waves of minions.
Where do they start? Mid is going to be the focus, at least for Superstars. Cure throws out the Stormbolt, so Molten Core is still a thing. It's not going to be used. Mid web weavers down. Top still stand. That would be the place I expect to see a Molten Core, if any. Bottom still pushing outward, but it should be a pretty easy clear. Man, they're going to just not even drop any cooldowns. They're trying to get all 3 forts.
There's Molten Core, nobody in position to stop it this time. So mid stays alive while Superstars clear out the top web weaver, but it does take down the fort before those rotations can come in. Gul'dan's in the bottom, taking out that web weaver too. It's almost there. Superstars could group back up, try to get the right Horrify. Naventic split, trying to flank, see if anybody comes in to help Gul'dan. But both teams will reset again.
Difference between these two teams now, other than the structures down for on the side of Superstars, is the gems. There's still a very different gap here. 26 in the hands of Naventic, 74 out of the 28 already managed to make it into the bank for Superstars. All it takes is, do they have one person with even enough? Not yet.
Twilight Dream, Ring of Frost, Rhaegar's out of here.
He is just gonzo. Faye ends up going down 2 before the Horrify. Srey has a good iron skin, but he's gonna need something stronger than that. 3 people down. Superstars falling behind, should end up losing a boss. Yeah, it's gonna be the boss play. I thought it's either the boss or the keep. I like the keep a bit more, but oh, Naventic. They realize the turn-in is happening on bottom. Now they're all retreating.
They don't want to allow the turn-in, but now Superstars are going to lose 28 more gems. They lose Lunara, 30 seconds-ish, until she'll be back along with the rest. So they've got a staggered death timer now.
They've got 20 advantage when things matter. They have enough time. They don't have enough time to stack web weavers. That's one thing they got going for them. It's just impossible. It would take an entire secondary rotation of a minion wave, and none of them are stacked high enough. So now Naventic just has 20 power spike, and they've got the bus. They can get a keep 100%, but it's not game.
I wonder what the 20 choice will be for Genji, because before we've seen the Dragon Becomes Me to pair up and make sure you can get more resets. Is it Living Weapon and its cooldown reduction for X-Strike so it's up more often? Maybe Sharpened Stars to help out with the clear.
This is tense. I'm sorry, this is... Naventic has a lot to get done here, and there's such good defenses out of the side of Superstars. There was no turn-in, even though they have enough for the turn-in. They're all moving with this boss. Man, you can tell Naventic here is not used to being in the lead with their decision-making. These last couple of seconds, not grouping to go top with their 20 advantage, not turning in with their 20 advantage, only allowing Superstars to catch up. Now, they will get a turn in before Superstars is 20, but by the time the Web Weavers actually hit the battleground, excuse me, and are effective, Superstars is legitimately rounding 20.
Dread, did nobody give you lunch? The Battle Grill?
The Battle Grill. The Battle Grill.
Someone bring a Dread a snack. Stat, because we've got a game on our hands. Superstars hoping to defend versus this next Web Weaver phase. Superstars have been having trouble this entire game. Naventic have been getting picks from the get-go. They've been taking out Superstars members with the gems too. If they can just get 20 and defend here without losing too much.
A major selling point for Naventic now that they've hit the 20 spike is the fact that they do have the ice block there for Kenma on the Jaina. He's been not gotten killed so often in ganks, but very much half caught out of position. Talking about that, Saray dropping the Iron Skin there. Keep yet to end up falling, but he will no longer be, insta-give the same way it was before. Molten Core, Naventic walks away.
Yeah, they were already on the retreat there. Biggie is taking damage though. So close to being taken out. Yeah, he'll use Ice Block as the rune comes out from him. Oh, the Sulfurous Smash was used too, but Goku in the end reigns supreme, taking out Malfurion. And now there's no support for Naventic. Now Superstars, complete with Echoed Corruption and fully engaged with Lunara Poison, get another kill, feeling good in the late game.
Yeah, that is going to be a slow hit on to Cure. W dropped by Hosty. Can they get it? He's still got a Dwarf Toss. That's the last one. Stormbolt to peel off Iacona. No Totem dropped here, but there is enough for another Web Weaver rotation. The Totem! Oh, Cure forced the Avatar. This is so huge for Superstars. They have 30 seconds, but while two members are dead on the side of Naventic, they have one of the best sieging compositions you could probably ask for at this point of the game, but they have yet to take a single structure in this game, even though we're 20 minutes in.
Goku did a great job immediately escorting bottom, now joining up with his teammates in mid. Gul'dan doing the same in the top lane. There's no Horrify right here, but it doesn't matter because Team Naventic are not going to step out knowing that they don't have all of their members back yet. Now Faye joins with the group after escorting top. The longer that Superstars can hold Naventic here in the mid, the better bot and top will do without any defense. And the minute that Naventic looks to defend those lanes, that's when Superstars strikes and tries to take the win.
But one of the differences we see from this situation to almost every other time we see the situation on Tomb is the fact that no forts have ever been taken. So instead of these threatening the keep an hour earlier and this game, oh my, damage on Azuna. He survives after, I believe was the Sulfurous Smash. He lives, the keep falls.
It was Sulfurous Smash. So there it is,
flank.
Odin, Ring of Frost.
Ancestral lands, but Iacona actually goes down here without Zuna even in the fight yet. Saray drops the blind. He needs to go in, but Goku ends up just standing there last second. Gul'dan's already dead. They lose. Oh my gosh. They did it.
Saray is leading them on a merry goose chase around here, but Naventic has taken down 3. And Zuna makes that 4. Web Weaver in top, Web Weaver in bottom, but it doesn't matter to Team Naventic. Only Lunara is left. Naventic wins that team fight.
The only way they lose this is if they somehow get killed by Hosty. I don't think there's any opportunity for that to be the case. The keep down. 20 seconds till Rhaegar's up, and it's only a Rhaegar. Tomster takes a lot of damage, but he has no leaping strike, no way out. He's buying time. He's pulling him away from the core. That's what he's got to do. Oh my gosh, he might have bought enough.
12 seconds until Iacona's back up 16
they can't
for
do
Faye,
it.
and she's going to have a Horrify.
He stopped it, I think. Cure is now onto the core of the shielding. is going to be removed. Zuna ends up getting the pick, so that is huge. 80%. Zuna.
70. Several hits. We've got Horrify as soon as Faye pops back up in 1, but it's 30%.
It's too late.
Going down. Team Naventic have done it. They take game number 2, tying the series.
Man, I thought for a moment Hosty had it, but just a couple seconds away. Naventic reels it back in and reels back in the series with my little cookies.
We asked for a snack and production delivered. HGC production is the best.
Yeah, when she asked if I had a snack, then somebody in the middle of the game just dropped some cookies on the desk and was like, "Here, Dred, you're not yourself when you're hungry." But
you're gonna need that snack because we've got a series.
We're going to get a minimum game 4 here. Not what I expected, especially on a smaller map without any wave clear. But the last like 4 minutes of that game was just we attempt a siege and now we're dead. And then it's like we attempt a siege and now we're dead. You know, we did get to see what, you know, Genji and other melee assassins is like, the chase potential, what that means when you're trying to run away. You just can't. You've got to take the full 5-on-5, otherwise it will take off. But the lack of single target burst and isolate, it was just a Sulfura Smash was the only thing that could lock down a kill for Superstars draft.
Yeah, and Superstars had such a massive disadvantage from the beginning of that game. The picks they lost, the gems they lost was so frustrating and put them at so far behind in the game. They did an awesome job of trying to come back in the game. It just wasn't quite enough. So now we head to a break. When we come back, game 3. See you soon. Going to use Molten Core. Kira's there. Dwarf tosses out away from a Molten Swing. Kenma, though, gets hit by Sulfura Smash.
And he goes down.
Finally, Superstars getting a pick.
No Horrify left up. It was already going to be used. Hosty taking a lot of damage. Root's not going to land. Iacona with a beautiful Ancestral Twilight Dream going on just to Sray on the front line. He's trying to kite out. The blind's there. The X-Split drops. And Zuna takes too much poison. Big Impact goes down. And now what started as a reasonable fight for Naventic